outside heel hooks today in a little bit more detail, right? We talked about the strength in some good detail, and I know we did bring up the heel hook and we did do a couple finishes, but we're going to work both inside and outside and talk about the difference real quick. So as we make our transition to cross-ashi, right, we're gonna fall. So before we fall, let's understand that I'm sitting up squared right here, all right? So this gives me more access to his leg, right? In a perfect world, I would trap his leg, right? But for today, I'm just explaining braking mechanics. So we're just gonna focus on this leg. We're not gonna trap this leg right away. We're gonna talk about which direction I fall. And the direction is either way, realistically. There's pros and cons to both, right? I can fall to my left side, which gives me great heel exposure, right? But it also gives him a potential to hand fight with me and close the distance and be in the wing, right? Whereas if I fall to my right hip, now it's a little bit harder to find the heel. I have to dig for it more, but it's a little bit harder for him to reach it, right? And either way, we're going to be achieving an inside heel hook, right? So when I get to this position, the first direction we're gonna fall is towards his head. Boom. My secondary hand is coming to trap the Achilles. I'm feeding the toes into my armpit. Now, one thing I noticed last night when I was teaching you guys, I feel like the heel hook name itself, heel hook, misguides a lot of people in their goal. They start like trying to hook the heel with their wrist and they can't find it. Like he's hiding his toes, right? I'm like searching for it and I just can't get it, right? So the name I think throws people off. What I really want to do is smash his toes with my armpit, right? So if I can't reach his heel, right, with my wristwatch, I'm gonna smash the toes down. Look how the heel comes to me. Even if he hides his heel, go ahead, hide the heel, right? From here, as I start to smash, it exposes the heel, right? And now I want to put the wristwatch of my wrist underneath his heel. Notice how I choke it up high too. I don't want it low, right? I'm gonna bring my wrist up high, my shoulder up high, right? And then my wristwatch is hiding under, my wristwatch is hiding under his heel. My elbow is outside. Now watch this, I'm gonna bring my elbow to my hip. And I can eventually achieve the heel hook with one hand, right? So understand what's happening here. I'm getting the wristwatch under the heel and I'm bringing the elbow down. If I bring the elbow down and the wristwatch slides, nothing happens. If I bring the wristwatch up and the elbow up, nothing happens. But when I bring the wristwatch up and the elbow down to my hip, there's the tip with the top is zero squeeze, right? Now I'm gonna lock up my palm to palm grip. I can rock my wrist and I can bring that elbow in. Again, a tap with very minimal squeeze. And now if you remember our braking mechanics from before, right? I'm gonna try to get to this elbow and get here without removing the wristwatch. I'll never make this happen without breaking my opponent's foot. So be very careful. As I'm here, I'm slowly bringing that left elbow, right? So I have the right elbow going down to my hip, the left elbow trying to get down to the mat. So it's boom, boom. Eventually I'm gonna get here. And then the last detail, does anybody remember?
Yes.
Yes, right? So I've got a triangle. I plant my foot onto the mat, and now I can bump my hips and straighten my my leg, or straighten his leg here, right? Now I want to add all three, right? Elbow down, elbow down, elbow left. I look over the shoulder and I bump the hips, right? It should take minimal effort to hit this heel hook on this side. Notice inside heel hook, his leg is turning this way. I'm hitting the inside ligament of his knee, right? These guys here are gonna get damaged. If he didn't wear spats, you can actually see the tension develop on, maybe even with the spats. Yeah, you can see the tension develop on the knee, right? And that's where the damage is gonna happen. You do the braking mechanic correctly, it will damage the toes as well, right? And you'll see that in other positions a lot more effectively when we lay on the leg. So what I'm gonna have you guys do real quick, we're practicing the inside heel hook from cross-ashi. So I start in straight or wherever I'm starting. I make my way to cross-ashi. I fall towards his head. I expose and smash the toes to get the heel. And then I add all of my finishing details here, including the hip bump. Got it? Let's give that a shot, guys. Variation of inside heel hook we're gonna see, right? And like I said, the first time is I drop to my left hip towards his head, right? Like I said, it's gonna create a situation where I have a heel hook on top of my body, but my weight is off of his leg, right? Like I said, there's pros and cons to each position. Sometimes he's gonna go hide his heel, right? And as he does, we land in this position here, where I am in cross ashi, but the heel is hidden. Now I have two options here. I could chase the inside heel hook, and we'll show you how to do that in a second. The other option is generally the more beginner-friendly option, and it's to switch to Reaper, right? Because he turned this way, it made it hard to acquire the heel here, so I would pass this leg over, and we have Reaper here, right? And then we have our outside heel hook, but we'll get to that in a second. I do want to show you guys how to chase the inside heel hook from a situation where my weight is on the leg. All right, this is how you can differentiate these two positions, is I have the cross ashi position, but my weight is on his leg versus weight off of his leg, right? So I have weight on the leg. My elbow, I'm gonna stay on the elbow. I'm gonna put my elbow right to his toe knuckles, right? My secondary arm comes down to his Achilles, and I'm gonna place my head on the floor. Now, this arm, I'm gonna keep my head off just so you guys can see. This hand is gonna do a windshield wiping motion. It's gonna windshield wipe all the way underneath, under his heel, and then back. It's gonna be easier to do when I'm on my head. So I'm putting pressure onto those toe knuckles with my elbow, head to the mat, windshield wipe underneath and back, and now we have a vicious heel hook here. I'm already taking pressure off of it because it's super strong, right? I wanna stay on my shoulder here, and look at my elbow. It's very wide on purpose, right? But as soon as I bring it in tight and my hips up, the tap comes without me really having to put any force into it. It's me just locking up my grip, right? So this one, again, be very careful, guys, because you have weight on your opponent's knee. So don't do this fast, or don't be falling on your opponent, because it can hurt the side of his knee, right? I have elbow to toe knuckles, head to mat, windshield wipe, lock up the heel, and then I start looking over the shoulder. I can place my head on the mat as well to make more weight on his leg, right? One more time. We land in cross ashi. I'm gonna turn this way. I chase, I catch the heel, and then I start to finish. It's gonna be fairly awkward if you guys are used to finishing heel hooks on the other side, but not this side. It's a different mechanic for the breaking. I'm not pulling it across my chest. Remember, when I talked about my hip, hip, shoulder, elbow synchronicity, right? I'm on my right hip, so I should be on my right shoulder, and I should be looking over my right shoulder, right? So once I have this break locked in, I'm not trying to pull it across this way. I'm trying to look over my shoulder that way, and that's folding his foot. This way, my hips are extending into his knee, and that's breaking this way. All my weight is backwards on his foot. If you try to rip it across, it can work, right? But it's not gonna be optimal. Right, one more time so you can see it, sorry. Right, and then elbow. Okay. Yeah? Give it a shot. Apply the outside heel hook, and that's gonna be outside ashi. And more importantly, what we're gonna cover today, we did the shared spiral roll with the back heel, right?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. We're gonna re-drill that again because it's very important to learn how to roll correctly. So, we're going to learn a transition from Reaper to outside ashi while using the breaking mechanic, right? So the first things first is I have to be enough to threaten a heel hook here, right? I have to give him a threat, right? Second thing is he has to know how to start to escape it, right? Which all he has to do to start his roll is clear my leg here, right? And then begin to spin. If I do nothing, right, go ahead, keep spinning. Right, I will potentially lose this position and start to get smashed, right? But I'm obviously not gonna do nothing. I want to spin with him, right? So I lock this in place. I notice, and also let's keep in mind, if he does not clear my leg, he will no longer be able to roll, and I'll still finish this position, right? So if he doesn't clear my leg, guys, don't share spiral roll, just trap him, right? But if he does clear my leg, I'm looking up to the sky, and then I bring this heel nice and back, and we look at what we have here. A tight grip in an outside ashi position. I can bring my elbow and shoulder to the mat as I start bringing my hip up, right? In a real sense, I would have landed on my shoulder, but be nice with your opponent, land on the elbow so you're not putting any falling body weight. The more important thing is watch my foot positioning. We're gonna try to do this in slow motion. Right, as he spins, my right leg stays big toe to the mat. Once we get to this side, it curls around and I have a perfect outside ashi position, right? I should keep the bite in. I just wanted to show the legs real quick so there's less interruption there. However, the bite is required for outside ashi. Without the bite and outside ashi, I am at the risk of getting smashed, his heel getting hidden. If we're actually fighting, he's gonna beat the shit out of me from here, right? It's not a good spot. However, if I landed with the heel, now when he tries to stack into me, grab me, beat the shit out of me here, he's going to break his own knee, right? The more he turns into me, the more he's gonna cause pressure here, the more I'm gonna look out this direction and take the heel up that way and also drop to the shoulder, right? So, he cannot hide the heel if we landed in this position like so. If he slips it and hides it, it becomes incredibly difficult to recapture it. Not impossible. We could do similar things that we just did, right, where I hide and dig the heel. Big problem though is he has another foot over here to kick my grip. He has two hands to stack in and grab my grip, or just hammer fist the shit out of me if we're actually fighting, right? So a lot of the time, if we lose the heel, we get into reverse ashi, right? I just turn and we can back up into it. That's gonna be more for later. I want you guys focusing mostly on the spiral roll, where we're catching Reaper, he clears, I go big toe down, we land, and I pull myself back in for my finish. Yes? Mm-hmm. Let's give that a shot. There 4 in each position. So I want us to start in standing ashi, or actually, let's start in seated straight ashi with either opponent having straight ashi here, right? We're gonna start here. You could start somewhere on the calf with this grip, right? And we're gonna go first to score from here, right? Meaning I may submit him, which is a score. I may come up to pass. It's not a score until I fully pass. Or if he disconnects and comes up, right? If he gets up, that is a score, right? If he gets back into my guard and starts passing, right? So, yeah, first to score, guys. 2 minutes each person. Most people have the right idea of clearing this foot off of the hip, right? I'll show you how to do that effectively in a second. But more importantly, however, I may have seen it once or twice, but big priority in this situation is we can get up to our feet, right? If we can get up to our feet, that's gonna start stopping the straight ankle. So the more I chill here, and the more, like, if I'm big and strong enough and he's small enough where I can simply just stand, right, I will, right? But odds are, especially I'm a lot smaller than he is, I'm probably not gonna be able to do that if he's latched down here, right? And I'm also not gonna be able to push this foot off, right? Sometimes you can just smash this foot down and then sit on it, right? But look how, if I try to push it, he's keeping it nice and sturdy and strong, right? So I'm gonna keep pushing, and then I'm gonna make like a Nike swish motion with my hip, just like so, right? So his own pressure pushing into my hip, the harder he presses down into my hip, the easier it's gonna be for me to clear that, right? So as soon as I clear this hip, guys, I'm pushing, I clear, I sit over it, I can start looking to repummel, right? Like I have attacks here, right? Or I can simply start looking to get back up, right? And start looking for my passes, controlling the knees, and starting to pass this direction, right? The straight ankle grip itself is a bitch to get out of. It's annoying, right? So another one of my favorite defenses from here is using like an axe kick with my hamstring, right? I need to separate his knees. He's strong here. I can't do it. I can't even push this down. Maybe I can't even check my hip out of the way. I'm also gonna make sure I can put a boot on. If my foot's straight and getting wrenched on, I may have to come and deal with that first. Kick my foot and get a boot, right? But look, I'm gonna take this leg all the way over, and I'm gonna get my hamstring to curl around his knee. Now I'm gonna place my hands to the mat, and I'm gonna just hip out as I push myself into this mounted position. Right, he's gonna hold this straight ankle because a lot of guys won't let go of it, and it's kind of irritating. And if you try to just remove your foot here, what tends to happen is you'll stand up, you'll give him space, you'll re-enter on ashi, and you'll be here. and then we're back where we started, right? So we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna come out here, open this up, come out, 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 out. When my foot is up like this, I'm gonna staple it across his bicep. Right now I can use this to start working that foot out and then getting back into my mount position, right? So we're using the hamstring to back heel out of it and then stapling across the bicep to remove that foot. That's gonna be the last one we work today, guys. Let's hit that defense and call it wraps. Yeah?
Yep.